up, everybody? It's Fan Snob Chronicles. I'm your girl, the Stadium Queen, and I got my boy D Jones on the right. What's up, D Jones?
Man, I'm chilling. What's popping?
Man, it's week 14. I know we was having a little giggle time before we started tonight.
Told
But
me
yeah,
what one before you started the intro. It's cool.
I had to give you a good laugh. Sorry, guys, we can't share what we were laughing at, but
Mm-mm.
just know it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh. Um, Anyway, so how was your Thanksgiving?
It
Seems
was
like
good.
a long time since Thanksgiving, right?
I know. It was good. Spent a lot of good time with family, good food. Ate too much. But
Oh, I didn't have that problem.
yeah, I know you ain't had that problem. You was chilling. Well, you
I
know
was
what? I didn't eat a lot at like
okay.
one time. I'm just saying I ate on it for like a couple of days. So it's just like too much of it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
But
Okay.
nah, I control my portions, so I wasn't miserable. So it was cool. Football ended up being pretty decent, even though some of the matchups didn't look like they was going to be worth watching. But it was good. It was a good time. My numbers didn't hit, even though I had good numbers. One of them years.
So you know what? That comment you made about they didn't look like good matchups. I think every game looks like a good matchup. I think we think. Hear me out. I
I
think
hate.
we've already predetermined the winner, so it changes our view on what the matchup will look like. And so what ended up happening is we were presented with an opportunity to see good games. The matchup was still the matchup, but
I
some
get
of
what
them,
you're saying. I'm saying like when you see some of those and how those teams have been playing, it didn't lead that we was going to see good football. I'm not necessarily talking about two winning teams going against each other. You had definitely teams that was on the same level in the Dallas and New York game in a sense. Um, I think we both would agree that the Lions are far ahead of the Bears, but that ended up being a really good game itself. So I think it was just really the quality of when I say good matchups, I didn't think we was going to see a lot of close games or good ball that ended up being better than what I expected, I guess. But no, I don't look at it
I,
like that.
I felt like the Lions and Bears could be a good game just because it was a rivalry.
Division. It's a division game.
Those
Yeah.
division games, we keep seeing it over and over
Yeah.
that it just and even in their loss, right? It was a close game.
Yeah.
Even in their beating us, uh, referring to the Lions, it was a close game. So
Yeah.
their matchups have looked that way. So
Well, I tell you all the time, we don't. That's why they play the games, right? If it was just what's on paper, then we probably wouldn't watch most of the games on Sunday. But um,
correct, correct.
you
Yes,
know,
I was pleased. And I mean, it's been discussed endlessly, which I probably won't do too much of it here, but I was quite surprised at all of the flag planting. Um,
college
and
week.
but look, I feel like overall the NCAA doesn't have a problem with it because we've seen them. We know now that they will immediately make a rule when necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't make a rule. With all of that happened over the weekend, they find Michigan and Ohio State the same amount they fine you for taking the goalpost and rushing the field. So it was treated no differently,
Yeah,
right? And I
it
think that
wasn't
was,
enough of the
I think that
turn.
was good. I think it was good to not overdo it. I think it varies, right? I mean, Michigan has been winning the last several years, so it's not like it was a flip in who won. But I think being ranked so high, there was an anticipation that this would be their year to get the win.
Yeah,
But once again, when you're a rivalry game, people get up for the game. And
that was their championship game. So
yeah,
yeah.
and it goes back to the theory that we talk about even on the pro level that everybody is a pro player. Like all of these guys are professionals. They've been designated as professionals once they've been given the opportunity, regardless of what you think of their stat line or anything else or their play. So any team should be able to win and
Not should, can.
can.
Yeah.
Can. Okay.
Should
Yeah.
is expectation. Can is a
There is everybody's expectation though when the game starts should be to win. Come
sure.
on. That's
You're
all.
right. I mean, as you're right, you're absolutely right. When they should not go into the game expecting to lose. So you're right. You're right. They should go in with the high expectation and expectation of competing and winning.
Yeah.
You're right.
I mean,
You're right.
I would want that if I was a fan. I would not want my record to dictate how I want to play the game each week. You know,
Yeah.
your momentum may be a little lower or higher. I mean, I think about even when I played for SWAC championship in bowling, right? Like I knew they had two bowlers who averaged more than me, but I didn't feel like we lost before we showed up. I wanted to win, right? And even in the semifinals, when it was not predicted for us to go to the finals, I bowled the best game I ever bowled, you know?
Mhm.
And that was you get up a little more, but you still want to win when you show up, regardless
For
of what
sure.
you see on the other side. So
That's true. Fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
But with that,
So I want you to remember that when Michael Parsons say that the Cowboys got a damn good team after they just lost.
I,
I'm messing with you on that. Let's go.
oh, I
Let's
was gonna
go.
say I actually didn't have a problem with that.
We
I
need to
did,
talk about that. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't have a problem with that, and I'm not gonna keep us long on it since it wasn't in our lineup, but
No.
I don't have a problem with that because it goes back to what I just said. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what should he get up there and say? He should get up there and discount his team. You know, everybody had a problem with the reading lips of what Dak said weeks back on the sideline, and now he's trying to put it in another perspective. It's like you can't win. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you and I talk about this all the time, and there was a comedian that made a skit about it that we could say the sky is blue, and someone will come in the comments and be like, "That's light blue." No, that was powder blue. I mean,
Yeah.
well, it was only light blue in one section. It was raining in the other section. So it's like we
It
no
ain't nothing.
longer,
Yeah.
yeah, we no longer look for the value in what someone said. We look to destroy it. We will now. It's a difference between correcting facts and then just going wild on opinion. Um,
For
that's
sure.
too much.
For
But
sure. We're gonna
anyway,
get
so let's
into it.
get back. I see you. I see you. It's Wednesday night. I thought you'd be with some basketball, but good to see you. So for my teams of the week, I started with the Bills fans, and you know, part of my reason for that is because I don't care how much you pay. The fact that those fans show up to shovel the stadium every time there's a snow game,
Every time.
every time. And, you know, I think I mentioned this briefly. So this will be my stadium since we're on it this week, but I've mentioned it several times before. Um, it's a one-way in stadium. It's it's at the back of a neighborhood, and everybody has to go all the way into the neighborhood and then park, you know, different sides of the street. But at the end of the day, we all have to get out the same way.
The same way.
The same way. And the closest thing I remember to it is like San Diego. And you never went to the stadium in San Diego, but
Mhm.
it was like imagine it being in the middle of the 610 loop, and the entire part in the middle is the stadium. So there's nothing around it but freeway and parking lots. So you're trying to get out, but really you're trying to get on the freeway, and you can't get on at every exit.
Mhm.
So it's like that. And
That's a challenge. Yeah.
yes, and Dodger Stadium is similar too, but the worst I've seen is Buffalo. And those fans are just dedicated to the cause. And I just have to give them teams of the week because there's just no way. There is just, I mean, I want to say I love football. I love seeing the snow and the idea of it, but I don't know if I would have cleaned the stadium and then tried to see the game. I don't know if I would have done both. I just don't know.
I think I would have. I
You would
would
have?
have.
Okay.
I
I
would
mean, I
have.
would be at the game, but I don't know if I would have cleaned the stadium.
I mean, I'm gonna clean my area. You know what I
Well,
mean?
because they have to clean it for safety reasons. Because, like they said, they actually shovel the foot area and the steps.
Yeah,
Your seat. Most people it's a bench, so it's still just what it is.
it is what it
So
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why they're standing. So anyway, the fans, and then keeping with the Buffalo theme, a few weeks back we talked about who we thought was like in our top 5, and we've kind of just, now we're addressing it weekly. And Josh's performance was amazing on this past week. He made a little bit of history with the whole passing, receiving, and rushing touchdown. um and I think that's why I really really love football, like, because in basketball we get like great dunks, right? In baseball we get down to full counts in a home run or a grand slam, and all of those are amazing moments. But the one thing I really love about football, when there's a great play, at minimum 2 people were involved. you
Mm,
know and so, because even on a great play by a running back, right, you still need a good blocker. There was one good block in there that
mm.
definitely made it work.
It's
Or
ultimate team. It's ultimate.
his
Everybody got to do
ultimate
their
team.
job.
And
Yeah.
so when you talk about his play with Cooper, it's 2 people. And so I really love that game. I love seeing him step up and take over his team, and build, and the joy in the press conference of that. So for me, he's, on my teams of the week list. And then the Eagles,
Okay.
they are committed to the run. And I think I like when a team is truly committed to their style. They don't let up. And I believe the Lions are too, but in a sense that we've seen a switch with the way the Eagles are running it. And even in the beginning of the game, I said this last week, right? I felt like the Eagles had a better edge to win, and exactly
Yeah.
what I felt like would be that push was what I saw second half. And something enlightened by the comments made by Lamar in his press conference about he should have ran more, because that's not what I've been seeing from him. I didn't expect that to be it. He has some beautiful touchdown passes, though. I mean, he has some amazing plays in the end zone. And but I just feel like Philly has said we're okay with it, because right now Saquon leads in the touchdowns and he leads in the yards, right? But what's more fascinating about that is when you talk about the number of plays where he's played to the 1 yard line, and then they do the tush push,
Hmm.
and they've done it 9 times. Only one was at Saquon. Did they not get a touchdown? They lost yards. Every other time, Jalen got the touchdown. So that's team ball, right? Because
Hmm.
you put him back out there so he could get the stat. But obviously, you doing what works best for your team, and tush push works best for your team. That's what your analytics say, and you stick with it. You don't stick with making it look fair or comparable for the other player. So um, I know Josh had an amazing game, and I feel like it's just a quarterback award, but I feel like if we were to stray away from not giving it to a quarterback, we
You
should be
knew
giving
you knew my next
it.
question. You knew where I was going, huh?
What's
Go
your
ahead.
next question? Was I there?
You flowing, you flowing, you flowing, you flowing. I was gonna take you straight from Josh Allen to Saquon to
Okay.
continue our MVP countdown. It's a 3-man race for us right now. I think it's clear that Lamar is 3, and he's still gonna keep Josh at 1. But you just made a great point about Saquon and those additional touchdowns. Let me tell
Personally,
you. Let me tell
okay.
you before you answer. I saw a very interesting stat today. I don't have the exact number, so I'll just sum it up. Basically, if you take the top 4 rushers in
Mhm.
yards,
Yeah,
you got
Saquon,
Saquon,
Henry, and then
Henry,
there's a huge drop off at 3.
but
Mhm.
but then you got I think out of Detroit, Gibbs. Saquon second half alone yardage is more than Gibbs.
Right. But in fairness, The Lions two together is about 1,800 yards. Both of their running backs,
That's fair, but
and
I'm
so
just
they
saying.
got a
I'm
really
just
good split.
no. It's not a knock on
Okay,
Gibbs.
okay,
It's to talk about Saquon's
effect.
rushes in the second half alone is almost 1,000 yards. It's like
Yeah,
900 and something yards in the second half,
yeah.
and it's like that's crazy.
And
So
that's kind
you
of what
can
I talked about last week. I was like, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna come down to who gonna make that change. Even when we was talking about that game, I was like, the second half gonna tell me whoever can make this run, because they did not go away from the run. They were losing yardage, getting 1 yard, 2 yard.
well, they're gonna play that game. Yeah,
They still played it. But I'm gonna move Saquon gonna be my one.
you put Saquon at one.
I'm putting them at one because a quarterback gonna do what a quarterback gonna do.
I feel
And 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 now what's starting to happen is he's being a quarterback, but when has he not? It's just Lamar was outshining him or Mahomes was outshining him, but he hasn't had a bad season under center.
yeah. I mean,
And
I
so, and it's sad because it feels like he has to have a perfect season to win, right? But I feel like Barkley's outshining him.
well, he's on pace right now to either match or break Eric Dickerson's single season yards record. So
And shout out to
I
him
think,
for saying Henry and Saquon go get it. Um, I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So we seeing a shift right now. I mean, a change. I ain't gonna call it a shift. We seeing a change this year, where we started seeing, the reduction of the importance of the running back. Now you got the Saquons, you got the Henrys, you got the Joe Mixons, you got the I'm missing one guy, but you got the tandem in Detroit. Um, I'm missing somebody. J.K. Dobbins before he got hurt. You seeing these guys that switch teams, not the Detroit guys, but these other guys that switch teams, being so effective in what their offenses are trying to do. And it's like, hey, the running game and the running backs are not gone, and these are not just brand new. Um, Josh Jacobs, thanks, B. Um, the running games are not gone. These guys are still, super essential to these teams, and to see Saquon possibly get an MVP, I think would help in that category too. But
So
shout
here,
out to the boys.
so here's I would say in addition to those comments, is
Mhm.
that it's a greater emphasis for the running backs they tried to devalue last year. That's what's even more prevalent about the situation. It's not
Right.
just the position, it's the exact people that
Yeah.
were not being valued. And if we remember correctly, excuse me, having a problem with my left eye. If we remember correctly, at the beginning of last season, there was a fan mockery of the idea of Saquon wanting more. Like, how dare you feel like you
You
deserve
want money.
more?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're a running back. Well, don't forget, I am the running back. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's been like, oh,
so
we can just draft a new one. You know what I mean?
yeah, and
And it's
and
like,
clearly, based on the last draft, when they actually started drafting running backs, they did not even want to value them at that. And then I love the age of the running backs that are dominating. It's not the young, fresh legs,
no,
right?
no.
And so I'm just still confused on how Nashville didn't see an opportunity to give him another contract.
Well,
I
they
don't
was
know.
changing. They was changing things though. Remember, they changed
You
coach.
still
They
need a
changed a
running
lot.
back. I mean, and that's the
No,
guy, but that's
I
the
don't
guy
disagree.
piece you still keep. I mean, he is the guy that deserved that.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
but I mean, I don't necessarily knock them like I would say New York, just
okay.
because just because.
I'm not knocking. I guess I'm
Well,
just
when when
surprised.
I'm questioning them or whatever,
Okay.
because of the age of Derek, because Derek he's not coming off a great season. Um, he didn't have a great season last year with Nashville with that team, and then for them to make household changes where they changing the coach and making other big changes there. I can see them going a different direction. If you asking me, should I keep Henry or bring in Pollard? Yeah, I'm probably going to keep Derrick Henry. So I'm with you on that piece. But hey, things happen. But
And I'm glad Mixon's in Houston, so I'll take it. But
love it, love it. One more that I think I added probably late to the teams of the week is just just to, and this is real quick, just to show love and give some acknowledgement to Bryce Young and even Anthony Richardson after these two young quarterbacks were essentially benched for an older veteran quarterback around the same time, for those guys to keep their head high, keep working, and then now back in those starting positions and actually winning games and playing well. Bryce is playing very well these last. They didn't get the win this past Sunday, losing it in overtime, but he's been playing very well the last few weeks since he's been starting again after Andy Dalton. So just shout out that those guys. It's a testament to the character of those guys to stay in the thick of things and staying ready and being and not getting down on being benched. So just a shout out to them. It ain't nothing we ain't giving them no awards or anything for it, but just the acknowledgement.
well, the rewards are the wins. Um, but at
True.
the same time, I think what people forget is, you go to work on average 20 days out of a month, and you're not great all 20 days out of the month. And you have 12 months of that. And so now you shorten the window of when you have to perform to 17 performances. And you might not always get the best out of those 17. And then what happens is, if you think about it like department wise, right? So you could say the offense is a department, and the defense is a department, and the special teams is a department, and overall coaching is a department, right? And when one of those departments is not working, it could affect the others and spread, or it could be isolated and you still survive. And so that is the accumulation of what really goes on with a football team. And
Mhm.
so people have to get out of the bubble of the team, and I'm including myself in people. And when you don't get the quarterback play you want, right? Let's just go with New York. You're not getting the quarterback play that you wanted from him as a fan. We're not even going to deal with the team itself, just the fandom of it. You remove that element. Was that really your only problem in your departments? Or did you focus on that department the most and minimized everything else? And so sometimes that's that's what happens to the quarterback, because you see them the most. They're always on the field when offense comes out. You might put the running backs out there. You might line up three receivers. You might line up two and a tight end, but you always putting a quarterback out there. So in the end, you always start with him. Then if you
Yeah.
can get past him, you start with the line, because they always going out with him. And for the most part, like we discussed, you're not really doing a juggling act outside of injury, right? And so I think when we saw the benching of quarterbacks, it started to encourage fans to think it's okay to rip apart quarterbacks, and make it a thing of, yeah, let's teach them a lesson, let's bench them. I started seeing it even with our own team, like, yeah, maybe a benching would help. Like, now we want to do punishment. So we writing them up, right?
Yeah. You
And
you going into our first teams for the week, but go ahead, keep flowing.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
well, I
Fickle
mean,
fans. Fickle
yeah,
fans. Go ahead.
fickle fans. It'll roll right into that. And so I think we have to be careful of how quick we destroy and attack, and then expect people to just, for some reason, we have decided, and only in sports, we have decided that you have to have 100% mental toughness. You never can have a weakness and a down or a bad day. Meanwhile, all of you are experiencing those things in your life, but you want them to have none of it. None of it. There, you drove home in your car mad about something at work, and you tried to resolve it before you pulled up in that driveway, but you didn't. And you went right in that house and took it out on somebody inside. Then you had to reflect, right? But you got to do over, because they're going to be there when you wake up tomorrow, and you get to resolve it. See, and as they trying to resolve it, another game has went by. And we just say there's no room for it. There's no time. And I think if you will remember that, you would be okay. And then at the end, when you don't remember that, it's a game. So remember that. So, okay, remember that, because at the end of the day, like, Daniel left New York with a check, and the insults of, well, why does he think a playoff team is going to sign him? Tell me when you said you left a job and you said, yeah, I can't wait to just go work at another horrible office. I'm going to take the first horrible job that approaches me. None of you have ever said that. None of you. And he said exactly what every player being released should say. Send me to a contender. like it's not rocket science. So I'm like, if you would get out of your own way, you would have said the exact same thing he said. Why would he feel down on himself?
If you got a choice of where you go. So I'm gonna go to the Jaguars. Nothing's gonna happen. No,
I'm gonna go to an eliminated team. Send me to the Patriots.
Yeah, no. Why? No.
No.
And those teams could have picked him up off waivers, and they didn't.
And
so
he
gets to pick where he wants to go. What about how they doing Tucker, man? You talking about the GOAT kicker. Now Justin Tucker in Baltimore is having an untuckerish season. I'm with that. And I'm wondering what's going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on. But it's a lot of people that's like, he should retire. He's done. And I'm like, you talking about the GOAT? You tell them. I mean, it's like fans get what have you done for me lately, that it's irritating the hell out of me.
Huh? It's right now.
What? Yeah.
It's perfection.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it. But you got fans here in Houston that's down on CJ. And I'm like, this reminds me, CJ told y'all they love you until they don't, right? And then it's like, y'all proving everything he said last year when he would make that statement. And I'm like, no, we're not giving up on this team and on this young quarterback. Even if he has taken a dip, he's still top 5 in passing yards in the league. Even if he is missing some throws he doesn't normally miss. You don't know everything that goes into what's happening, as far as their preparation and different things that's going on. But these fickle fans are just, ooh.
It's rough.
It's tough.
And shout out to Will on his comment. Like he said, hey, I'm looking for a job when I have one. Why don't you think I can get another one that's better? I mean, when a player's on a 1-year deal, they looking for another job while they have one. They auditioning for another team while they playing on your team. And that's exactly what they're doing on a 1-year deal. They call it the prove it deal. That's exactly what they're doing. When they quote unquote bet on themselves. So shout out to Will for that comment. I'm with it. And Will, I'm right there with you.
We're heavy on the sports psychologist.
We're heavy on the sports psychologist. Derek and I talk about this all the time in our group chat. And another thing about that topic for me is that I love the leadership of the coach to go over and hug Tucker. Because in that moment, to me, he said Tucker was more important as a person than the game.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of dropping and throwing stuff and being mad because he missed the kick. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure nobody wanted the kick to be missed. Doesn't mean they downplayed it. But that hug said a lot about coaching to me because we don't know everything all the time. Like I said, these guys are going to work with, you know, children could be sick, family members gone. We just really don't know because think about where you work. How much of your business do your co-workers and boss know about you that you're going through on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
How many times you want to choke somebody out at work, but you can't. But you still had to be there. So
And you still got to perform. And I think kickers too, you know, that's probably more than any other position is mental. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they do have a lot of repetition and muscle memory that they go through, but the pressure of the kick begins to be an issue, especially once you start missing. And I think that's what kind of comes in sometimes. A lot of times they talk about the placement of the ball or the laces front, you know, all that good stuff. But sometimes you can have the perfect setup and it can be off, just like you can have the perfect golf swing and you open up just a inch or just a second too quick, and it's going to slice a certain way. So I think, like you're saying, the coach going and hugging him probably meant volumes to get your minds, you know, hey, just get your mind right. Just get your mind right. You know, we saw a clip from Mike T getting, you know, his receiver mind right last week, you know, after he was kind of the reason for a pick six in a sense, you know, but hey, we going to need you somewhere else. And then he makes a big play later. So it's all about getting your mind right there. The other
and
teams
you have
oh,
the
go ahead, I'm sorry.
support, and knowing you had a support
Absolutely.
of the people you're with. And I believe that more than anybody, Baltimore giving him the support. And you can say the kicks cost you the game because it's easy to say this is when we'll do it. But guess what? Every first down you missed and had to punt cost you the game too. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just saying we all put that in a bubble, and I'm kind of not there on it. Um, even with our own kicker, because I feel like for as many times as you wanted him to make the kick, he did. So, I mean, so basically, you're
And
only bad,
you need him to get it out of his head because you might need him to win that game
right,
later on. Yeah.
right. And so he may have missed a kick with time left in a prevalent opportunity, but he also won you a few games on
Yeah.
kicks that the clock ran out on. So
For
it's
sure. For sure.
so
That was a game this year in San Francisco. They kicker was missed a couple of extra points. He missed a couple easy, like what we call easy or routine. Let's call it routine, not easy.
okay.
Routine field goals. And it's like, what's going on? What's going on? But guess what? Guess which one he made? The
The
one that
winning.
won the game. The one that won the game. So it's like, hey, but the other team for the week is, I mean, we gotta throw the Falcons out there. I mean, the Falcons had a lot of expectations. I think a lot of us have a lot of expectations for the Falcons, you know, and there's some people that say, yeah, I don't believe in Kirk Cousins, but the Falcons was a team on the rise. They're supposed to pretty much dominate that division, and they still may win that division. But I'm tired of picking them in the pick 'em, and they let me down every week. So, yeah, I done lost
This is
all
the
faith
one
in them.
game we had a conversation on right before picking.
You right. You absolutely right. Yeah, you right before the game started, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons, and then they start
So
falcon.
mad.
The Kirk gotta lose your game showed up. I
I
was
think
like,
anybody can lose you a game. And hey,
well, you know, we ain't gonna get into it this week. Maybe next week. Talk about the good and the bad Jameis that we got this past week. We got both the good and the bad in the same in the same game. But
I'm
Kirk kind
still
of
a
falls in
Jameis
that same
fan.
situation.
It ain't gonna change my mind.
Ain't gonna
So
change. Ain't gonna change. One thing we forgot in the teams of the week is to highlight our pick'em leader for the week. We actually
You ain't
have
gotta highlight
a
Will.
leader. We actually have a leader in sole possession of first place, and that's You Can't Beat Me. So that's Will. He's in sole position of the Pick'em League at 139 points. And then it's 138, 137, 136, and then
I'm
135.
137. I'm in third.
So, so we got some separation in points now at the top. So let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. We do have some games this week. I think that can go either way. So let's see who takes some coach risks this week, and let's see who keep it safe. I already know one. I'm gonna take. I'm trying to move up. So
what you taking the chance on?
I ain't telling you.
Oh.
I don't think you're gonna pick it. I don't think you can probably guess it, but I don't think you're gonna pick it. Matter of fact, I know you can guess it.
Your team?
For sure.
Yeah. I actually was going to say the same thing. No joke.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
I'm just I'm playing with you. I already know. We think alike. We think a lot alike, so I ain't tripping on that.
Funny statement. Will says the kicker is the loneliest person on the team. No one hangs with the kicker except the punter. You pick when the offense can't get it quite done, and you lose your mind when he can't make the kick. That's very true. But guess what? He is Cinderella every time he make it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bella ball.
It's like the glass slipper because they carrying you off the field and
absolutely
and hugging you and everything else, and they always give you a little gentle tap when you make it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I think the thing with Tucker is just everybody has come to expect him to just make those.
It was the same with the Dallas kicker until our game against them.
That was the first one he missed
about his kicks, and that was the first one he missed at under 50. I mean, because they're still human.
Oh yeah. Then he come back and make some more. But all right, let's get into the 3-piece and a pepper. So the 3-piece, we're gonna go through a couple real quick, just because they some division games, just to get your intake, your take on them, and tell me who you picking. Chargers versus the Chiefs. We know the Chiefs have been kind of. It's in Casey.
They still don't have a running back.
Pacheco. You talking about the Chargers? My bad. You talking about the Chargers? Yeah. I mean, they got
Chiefs.
They got Gus there. You know what I mean?
Chiefs.
Yeah. With me, this is one of those division games, right? So it's one of those. The Chiefs haven't been playing, outstanding. The Chargers do pack a defense with them. I think this is one of those they find their way, right? So they start doing Chiefs things. So we'll keep that with the Chiefs.
I mean, having a tandem now at running back will help them. This will be another week for Pacheco.
So, absolutely, yeah. I'm with you on that. All right, the next one is another division game. Seahawks and Cardinals in a very tight division race out in the NFC West. You got the Seahawks that's going to travel to Arizona and take on the Cardinals. I think both of these teams are playing pretty well right now. So what you thinking?
Seahawks.
Hey, Seahawks take the road.
They can do another road game. Defense looked pretty good this past weekend. Mm-hmm. Shorter flight, indoors. I say they rack it up, roll it out.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning Seahawks too. I think I believe in their offense just a tad bit more right now. I think defenses are pretty similar. Comparable. Yeah, comparable. But I think Gino and those boys get things done a little bit more on a consistent basis right now. So I'm with you on the Seahawks. The next game, the third piece, if you will, is a little bit, I think this is probably the best game of the week. It's actually this Thursday. You got the Packers traveling to Detroit for the Packers-Lions game. What you thinking there?
Okay. I know earlier I was thinking Green Bay, but I see they have quite a few injuries that might be out. So I got to relook at that.
For who?
Green Bay.
Detroit got a lot too. They got a few key injuries. DJ Reader's going to be out. I think a couple of couple of linemen. It's none of the big names as far as explosive players, but you got a lot of key linemen that's going to be out for Detroit that could impact this game too. So I think that I think they'll miss DJ. I mean, the Packers running game is pretty solid. We talked about Jacobs earlier. That sets up things for Love in the passing game. It sets up the play action quite a bit. So I think Green Bay got a shot here. I think it's a division game that they'll play them very well. They're not scared to go into Detroit. They went into Detroit last year Thanksgiving with no expectations, and and it wasn't
Oh,
even
me.
close. It wasn't
Oh,
even
me.
close. So yeah, but I think Detroit may, they always ready to whoop up on a division opponent. So I'm looking forward to this one. But I'm gonna go Pack go on this. I think the Packers
I mean, I
squeeze this
picked
one out.
Packers. I'm just gonna look at my injury list and make sure I'm final on that.
Yeah, it can change. It can change. I
Mhm.
I actually picked Detroit on my initial run
That's
through. But then I was like, nah, I think this is the game that I can take that chance on and
oh, a
pick the
kicker.
winner.
Okay then.
Well,
Okay.
I'm glad the Packers got rid of the one we had and got a vet in there that can kick that thing. Whew,
Oh, so
Lord,
our
oh,
last,
and look at me bagging on the kicker after we just
we just said, come on, man.
he was
Um,
he was bad
I
though.
think it's hard to fall in love with a kicker when they're new and they're consistently missing kicks because everybody's mind is on the fact that you only have to play when you have to kick. So you should be ready to kick. But it's so much more than that. If that was the case, everybody would be a kicker. Um, but the last things for tonight was, the college portal is about to open up. And when it does, it's going to be out of hand. Um, we can anticipate a lot of movement. For the record, there were over almost every single baseball team has somebody in the portal for baseball right now.
Oh, crazy.
It's outrageous, and so I can only imagine what this portal is going to look like. Today was National Signing Day. They're moving away from that next year, so you don't have to wait for National Signing Day. And congratulations to all the high school kids that were able to sign today because it's important to lock that in because like I said, that portal opens on Monday. And so I think a lot of teams were waiting to see who followed through on their letters of intent. So I'm kind of looking forward to that and some of the championship games this week. But before I do that, my pepper is still going to be, I still have my challenge flag.
Hmm.
And I am still back on challenging the league to look at this offsetting penalty thing.
It happened again.
When it happened again. And actually it happened in the Texans and Jags game with surrounding the hit on Trevor. And there were so many flags that I'm like, and yes, it would have been more against the Texans in that instance, but that's just not the way. We got to figure out something else about the offsetting penalty because there's no true discouragement if we're gonna balance out the flags. It's almost like the double tech thing. The only I mean, you trying to
I
set a
can kind of get that though. I can kind of get the double take sometimes when it's clear that
both of
one
y'all
person
cutting up.
started, then you don't use it as a scapegoat. But if it's clear, it's kind of both on both sides. I think the thing that got me on this one this week was so the first time we saw it, where we saw one flag on one team and four flags on the other team, right? But it was during the same skirmish, if you will. What got
Yes.
me in the Texan game was you threw the flag for the late hit or the unnecessary roughness, and then the other two flags came during the skirmish. So it's like one flag was during the play. You would think that flag would stand, and then everything else is after the play.
But it's two different things. Remember, so roughing the passer would be during the play, but the late hit is after the play, and then there wasn't another play. That's the problem.
I get it. No, I get the technicality of it. But what I'm saying is to fix it, I get why it happened, but I'm saying to fix it, this one is much easier to fix to me because even the late hit technically is after the play. It's
Well,
during
then,
it's when the play is happening. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
okay.
an
Well, what about a
unnecessary
dead?
roughness.
Okay, but it. I know, but he has to finish the play. I get what you're saying.
Him giving
So
himself up.
maybe,
I just want
so
to say,
maybe a dead ball. Okay, so maybe a dead ball penalty, and so the dead ball penalty. So then you look at those, but they still
what
offset.
if they still offset, they offset because
Okay.
you had two different people,
Well,
fighting in that case.
but they gave him the 15 for the hit.
No, they said they all offset. They didn't. It was third down after that. It was 3rd and 1 after that. Yes, go back and look at it because he said there's flags on both teams and they all offset. So he called the unnecessary roughness.
Well, we're not saying the late hit is not a dead ball. It's after the play over with. Oh, which one you talk? Wait a minute. Wait, hold on.
I don't think it is a dead ball.
Hold on. Let Will catch up because I know when I ask Will, you're gonna see it in delay. When you use the word late hit, are you talking about roughing the passer, or are you talking about when Al actually hit Trevor?
I think he's talking about late hit. I think he's talking about late hit, not roughing the passer. Roughing the passer is a different.
I just want to make sure. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I get dead ball should not offset live ball. We agree. No. So we agree with that, Will. We agree with we agree with you on that. We trying to figure out how to get all these offsetting penalties not to happen because we feel like two different things was going on. Maybe away from the ball, like the play on Al was up on the ball. The scrimmage is away from the ball. So I guess we trying to figure out how to make that issue go on over there. We got 2 refs in the comments, y'all. So we trying to give them time with the delay so we could get their responses. And so Brandon's saying stuff that happens after the whistle is deemed dead ball. Okay, so that goes back to what I said. He hit him. That's dead ball because they blew the whistle. The play is over. We know that flag was the 15. What we trying to figure out is the crap on the sideline.
But see what he said is the late hit is not a dead ball. So it should have counted. That's what Brandon said too. Brandon said it too.
He said the late hit is not a dead ball. Okay, well, I'm just maybe saying it wrong because I'm saying it what Brandon meant right here. He said stuff that happens after the whistle is deemed dead ball. So you're saying because I don't remember, they blew the whistle after he hit him, or they threw the flag and then blew the whistle?
They threw flags for both. I think that's what that.
No, I'm talking about just the hit.
The hit is a live ball foul. The stuff that happened after that was dead balls.
Okay. So Will just said once you have penalties on both sides of the ball, the penalties offset. They can be live or dead. Okay, so then maybe that's the rule. We won't.
Yeah, that's how it is. Okay. That's what I'm saying. The fix to me is that live ball foul should have counted, and then you separate the dead balls and say if you have two guys that had issues after that, then those can offset. But that 15 should have counted on the hit. Like they shouldn't have had third down. They should have had a first down play. And then if you want to make the unsportsmanlike conducts, you want to make those offset, then those can offset. But you got to still count the late hit. You know what I mean?
I think we were saying the same thing opposite way. But the clarification is that I'm glad he clarified because I wasn't looking at it that way. Is that that's still a part of the live ball Al's hit flag, and I'm looking at it like after, like I see it with the rough and the passer. That's a given, right? I think with that one, and I don't know why I didn't think about it that way because it's the same as if it was PI.
Correct.
They're gonna throw the flag.
Well, not. I can see why you
They
saw it
don't
that
throw
way,
the flag, but they
because
don't blow the
technically,
whistle if
well,
you caught it.
technically, once he gave himself up, you can deem the play over, but the ball is still live. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I get where you're coming from it. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
but
see
I
if I
mean,
can
I'm not
find it.
that deep in the rules, so I'm glad we had two perfect uh uh refs watching to give us the insight. Thanks, Will and Brandon, on that. Um, so yeah, then that's where my challenge would be,
Mm-hmm.
that I want to separate live and dead ball. You know, I want it to be like when they say the penalties after the play. And so you can't offset it if something happened before, because it's like you got away with it. And that makes it even worse,
Agreed.
regardless, you know. So that was my take on that. But um I'm looking forward to my bye week. And I need a bye. I think it was a lot for last week. And so we'll get our, you know, our home game before the holiday game that everybody's amped up about. So anyway, thanks guys, I appreciate that insight. But anyway, we're gonna get out of here. And I see you with the AFC South hoodie on. I see you.
Oh, we still run that thing.
Yeah,
We
we
still
do.
run it.
We do. We need to beat Miami. um who, you took a deep breath
We
there.
need one. We need at least one of these three. Because I was just gonna say we need at least one of these three. I don't care how we get it, but we need two. But a
It would be
minimum of
great.
one of these
It
three.
would be great. It'd be done, right?
Two would be great. Two would be great.
Or we need
Two would be great.
Denver to beat the Colts.
I, I think that's gonna happen. That's just me. I should have put that on the three piece.
Hey, he threw some pretty balls. Oh, we.
You talking about Knicks?
Yeah.
Bo. Yeah,
Mhm.
Bo's been playing good.
Mhm.
Sean's been coaching up there in Denver, so I like it.
I'm not gonna get into that part, but I am gonna get into, right before we go, the theory of, let's add to our next conversation about the rookie quarterback and the sophomore slump. Because
Slump.
for a while we hadn't been able to really analyze it, because Mahomes started his second year versus his first year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we would only have like one or two rookies at a time, and then they would get hurt. Like Deshaun got hurt. Joe Burrow got through the rookie year, but then the sophomore year he got hurt. I mean, no, he got hurt the rookie year, and then the sophomore year they went.
That's when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because that was Chase rookie year, but then he got hurt again the next year. So it's like we haven't really seen the two consecutive years, and now the film thing, right? Like, because Daniels is having a good season too, you know. So I really need to look more at those numbers of Daniels and Knicks, but also what we forget, which is the same way with CJ, right? You're playing the softer schedule. You always play your division, of course, but we meaning AFC South, we play one of the harder divisions this year as far as quality teams, because even though the Bears may be on a rookie quarterback, they already had a really good defense.
Well, even
And
on top of the division rotation, you won the division, so you had the first
yeah,
place.
you had those. So you
So
had those first place games, but imagine playing
yeah,
a division like we playing right now, when you play in the NFC North and they're all playing good ball, like the
correct. Yeah.
separation
On
of
top of
good
that,
on top of that. So
yeah.
it makes it even harder
Mm-hmm.
in your competition level and the prep level, because usually that means that the team is more of a veteran in what it's doing. You know, we have the theory of the young team and the age team, or how you groom your team. Like, you expect every year right now, right? The Steelers are going to have a good defense. You don't ever think it's going to fall off because of the way that's what they build around. That's
Yeah.
their goal and their mindset. So it just be interesting to see, because there's such a level of drop off, because The Broncos almost had them the first time. The block kick is how they didn't get them. They were in it with them the first time. Well, when I say them, meaning the Chiefs.
The
So
Chiefs.
it'll just be interesting to see because how well can you get over the hump outside of that? Because you're playing tough in your division, but who you had to play outside of it was a little bit more laxed. Whereas like Daniels, he still got to play the Eagles, right? And I
Yeah.
mean, the Cowboys was different, but it was a competitive game for him.
Your division is your division.
Yeah. So, it get rough out there, as they say.
So I'm out there for a pimp. My bad.
Well, anyway, it's time to go. I'm not going to be a pimp, but I'm definitely gonna go chill. Just want to remind you guys to follow on or go subscribe on YouTube. Probably be moving more to YouTube. It's getting to the point where Facebook wants to change everything possible to be able to use their platform with any third party. So there, I said it. But one fun thing, if you follow me on Facebook, I have never bought a Christmas tree. And so there's been this huge discussion around it, and I bought a Christmas tree. So I am going to post my Christmas tree chronicles. Don't have too much expectations though. Okay?
You brought not no Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
No, I bought a 6-foot tree.
Okay, all right. Look at you growing up.
Look at you adulting. And some of it was bullying. But yeah.
Used to come.
Joy, you too, Will. But I succumbed to pressure. But the coolest thing was my cousin FaceTimed me. She's not on Facebook. She had no idea about the post or anything, to show me her tree and to encourage me to get a tree, because she decided to order a tree and get a tree. And y'all, she FaceTimed me and just beautiful tree. So I was like, okay, fine. So then I was like, send me your tree. And then I'm on Amazon already looking at trees. And why was I looking at the same tree and didn't know it was the tree?
Didn't know it's the tree.
No. Yeah. But shout out to everybody who's offered to help me decorate the tree. You're doing too much because your girl not doing it. But
hey, we found the last 2 years that simplicity rules the world. We have the last 2 years we've had our pre-lit tree bare. And it's been great. It's been a great thing. My wife uses other ways to decorate around it, and we love it. So I don't know what you're gonna do this year.
Your wife is a decorator, and me. You know what's crazy, guys? Like, I am more into food than I am to anything else. I am simple. Like, all of my sheets are the same color.
Take that word out of it.
All of my sheets are the same color, and all of my tiles.
Simple about you though.
Okay, it's not simple, but I mean, I don't make it difficult for me in my home, and so I don't decorate. I just be like, I could do other things, but I guess we're gonna see how this tree gonna go. And yes, I am gonna record it and take pictures, but I just want y'all to keep y'all expectations. Like, don't be doing too much, because I don't want to have to be like, go off on you about my tree, because you better watch yourself, because I mean, I'm not gonna be taking too much about my tree. That's all I got to say.
And let's be clear, you ain't get bullied. You wanted the tree.
On that
note, let's go. Ain't nothing about you getting bullied. Ain't nothing about you getting bullied.
But I didn't want the tree. I just thought
you might have been on the edge and they pushed you over. But dang, if you didn't want the tree, you wouldn't have the tree.
No, I'm actually doing it as a project to see what I would do. Because if I don't like the tree, I'm gonna take that sucker right back down.
That's for sure. That's why I say ain't no bullying going on.
Sometimes my cousin is a bully, and my sister, because she even said Well, she said she bought a tree. She didn't say she bought a Christmas tree. I'm just like,
You bought a
really?
plant. You don't know about a plant.
Well, my plant done died. So that's a different story. We ain't gonna do it. Oh, you gonna give me an ornament? See, now I'm gonna have people sending me in ornaments. Yeah. I'm gonna come up with an idea for Valentine's Day. That's what I'm gonna come up with. That's gonna be my thought process. I'm gonna work on that. Y'all have a great night. Subscribe and follow.
Okay. Okay. Go. Later. Peace out.
Follow. And we appreciate you. That sounds like Scooby Doo. I don't even know what that
Go.